The following is a live sports presentation of Glycod. GLICOD.com.
Glycod's coverage of UA Local 502 Louisville basketball game night starts now.
The quest for the fifth straight state championship for Sacred Heart Academy begins right now. Welcome to Rupp Arena at Central Bank Center in downtown Lexington. I'm Chris LeBar alongside 2010 state championship basketball coach at Mercy, Mark Evans. And Mark, it all starts here shortly for this vaunted Valkyrie program.
Yeah, I think when you talk about the Valkyries, you have to start talking dynasty. I was part of they beat us on a last-second shot the first time they started their first run with Donna, winning 3 in a row, and now they're going on 5 in a row. Once again, great program, great coaching staff, great players, 3 in particular, and one was just named for the 4th consecutive year in a row Gatorade Player of the Year, and that's Zakiah Johnson.
Valkyries 31-3, their 4th straight win of over 30, and everybody's still talking about that semifinal win in the 7th region, the 1-point besting of Assumption, and they got past Manual on Saturday, but they were heavily tested to get here.
Yeah, it's a different Assumption look than ever before. It's been a long time. One time Assumption was a traditional Pyre. They really pretty much reloaded. I think they're tied to a particular AAU program, and that drew some really talented athletes their way. And they had a great game plan against Sacred Heart, to be quite honest with you. They did the things I think you need to do, and I'll just say they limited Zakiah's touches and frustrated her just a little bit. I'm not going to say exactly what they did because I don't think that's fair to the Sacred Heart program for me to be talking about, what I think, because I don't want her opponents to use it against her, to be honest.
For the Valkyries, you mentioned Zakiah, 3,788 career points. There's not much she hasn't accomplished on the basketball floor. How has she grown throughout her career, Mark?
Well, I've watched her. I had the opportunity to coach against her when I helped out Anderson County first round of the state a few years ago. She was either a freshman, I think she was a sophomore at that time. And I'll be honest with you, we had her frustrated. We had to lead most of the game, but what we couldn't do is get behind them because of their ability to spread the court and run on you and our lack of ability to press, and that's what ended our time. But, from that point on, she's moved to the perimeter. She's become an excellent outside shooter. She handles the ball extremely well. She's got great court vision, and what I've seen especially about her is her leadership skills on and off the court have really improved every single year. There's no one to defer anymore to. She is the one, and they love following her and working with her because she's such an unselfish, great, humble young lady.
Johnson Central, the opponent today, they're 27-3. They know Zakiah is the one. What in the world are they going to try to do today?
Well, I don't think they can change their stripes. You just can't do that coming in here. I know they're happy to be here. They're pretty much guard-oriented. Probably a weakness might be their inside size. That's an advantage that Sacred Heart has, amongst some others. But I expect them to get out and run. And, of course, if they can make some shots, it would help them set their presses. I don't know if they're going to press on misses as well as makes. But the thing of it is they have to create their type of tempo, and they have to make some shots. But, we'll see. As far as dealing with Zakiah and things like that, once again, I think you have to take away her touches. That means you have to put a great defender on her, and you have to just pay attention to her, not playing help off of her.
Golden Eagles coached by Jim Hicks. They're out of the 15th region, and for our Louisville audience, you'll meet Coach Hicks on the other side of this pause. We're live from Rupp Arena at Central Bank Center in Lexington, and more coverage from the Sweet 16 after this from Glycod.
UA Local 502 is offering great career opportunities for plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. They're seeking highly skilled and trained workers with or without experience. Incentives include debt-free education, employer-funded benefits, apprenticeship that comes with employment, and high starting wages. If you're ready to accelerate your career or just want a fresh start, UA Local 502 could be for you. Contact them at 502-361-8492. UA Local 502. We do it right the first time.
Blunt Dental Group is a high-quality, family-owned dental practice. We are committed to educating our patients, as well as investing in the latest technology to provide more efficient dental care. Our team of licensed dentists and hygienists includes 2010 male high graduate Tyler Blunt, located in the heart of Linden at 8013 New LaGrange Road, Suite 6. For an appointment, call 502-425-7068 or go online at bluntdentalgroup.com. Blunt Dental Group, straightforward smiles.
Innovation is what allowed us to reach for the stars. And now, to reach for the ignition without changing your oil for what feels like forever. Introducing Oil Guard, a Ferris exclusive. This innovative Vanguard oil system lets you go 5 times longer between oil changes. Along with Ferris's patented suspension system, you'll cut faster, mow longer, and reduce maintenance.
(1965) male graduate and basketball star George Tensley knows the value of providing quality service, and that's what you get when you dine with Tensley Family Concessions. They provide travelers with many fine choices at Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Whether it's Kentucky Fried Chicken, Chili's, or Starbucks, you know your travel experience will be a more comfortable and convenient one. Learn more about our company by visiting the website tfcfamily.com. Are you a parent battling with raising your child in today's fallen world? You're not alone. The Operation Parent Handbook is your beacon of hope with info and guidance on social media, vaping, anxiety, and more. It's a resource that equips you with the guidance and conversation starters you need in your parenting journey. Use discount code KIDS at checkout to get 10% off any handbook. Visit operationparent.org to reclaim your confidence as a parent. Operation Parent, you've got this.
When you're buying or selling a new home and you want to do it with few hassles, count on Polo Real Estate Group. Founded and owned by 1993 male high graduate Dion Reese, Polo Real Estate has over 2 decades of experience and offers skillful consultation and representation for your sale or purchase. Polo Real Estate Group, a realtor you can trust.
This edition of Coach's Comments is brought to you by Polo Real Estate Group, your one-stop real estate source. Founded by 1993 male graduate Dion Reese. Contact him at 502-387-6330 or visit online at polorealestategroup.com.
Coach Jim Hicks got a pretty good mix of youth and then some pretty strong seniors there. Just talk about how that balance works.
It's really worked out. I mean, we're the type of team, you can't just focus on one kid. We've had a different leading scorer in almost every ball game, and we've got a lot of parity, and that's what makes this team special. And on the flip side, we're really, really good defensively. We guard, and I think that's a good combination, being able to guard. And I think also too, we're the number 3 scoring team in the state, and we can score too. So that's a good combination to have.
Sacred Heart on the other side, obviously a Goliath. What do you think Billy would say if he was if he saw that you were having to play them?
I remember Billy saying, "Now, guys, if we played a series, we're not going to win the series, but we can beat them in one game." And that's the same message I relayed to my girls the other day. Hey, we have to clean up a lot of things, and we have to do a lot of things good. But in a one-game setting, yes, anything can happen, and especially when you play defense like we do, and you compete like our girls do. And now, granted, not taking anything away from Sacred Heart. They got the number 10 player in the country in Johnson. She's phenomenal. The point guard, when you watch a kid on film and she looks really fast on film, then she's probably fast in person. And Jordan is extremely fast in transition. And, the Frey girl inside, 6'1", is relentless on the glass. And then, Osting and Wilkins, and they've got a great supporting cast that comes off the bench and going against a Hall of Fame head coach, so we're kind of got our back against the wall, but we're going in this thing. There's no pressure on us. We're going to play loose and free, and hopefully we can hang around and have a chance to win at the end.
Coach, can you talk just a little bit about the leadership in your freshman point guard?
Carly's been really blessed to be around this group of seniors. We've got 4 quality leaders, and they're excellent on the court and off the court, and she's really learned a lot from them. Carly's a special player. You know, she's tough and hard-nosed, and she's got that, I call it that bulldog mentality. You know, she refuses to lose, and she'll do whatever she has to do. But she's been, for a freshman to come in and step over and take in at the point guard role, she's done really well for us this year.
Coach, talk a little bit about when you play a team like Sacred Heart and right out of the gate, is there more focus on you all and trying to remind your girls do what you do, or on the game plan and how you attack and stop Sacred Heart?
Oh, definitely. You always focus on your team first. You can't get so wrapped up in the other team that you lose focus. Your team's the most important by far, and we're going to do what we do. But, we've got a good plan going into this, and things we need to do and things we need to focus on. We started that yesterday at practice. We're going to carry it over into today's practice. We've got a film session after practice today. We're going to talk about some things. And granted, we're going to have to do some things different than we have in the past, but we're still, the main focal point's on us and what we're going to do.
Buying or selling a new home, and you want to do it with few hassles? Count on Polo Real Estate Group. Founded and owned by 1993 Male High graduate Dion Reese, Polo Real Estate has over 2 decades of experience and offers skillful consultation and representation for your sale or purchase. Polo Real Estate Group, a realtor you can trust.
You cannot depend on Carl to make peace with his seatbelt.
Today.
Or on Beth to choose the best meal to go.
Is that soup?
Or on Stephanie's perfect parking spot to stay perfect. But you can depend on their car starting because they have Interstate batteries. Interstate batteries, outrageously dependable.
Come by Interstate Batteries, 1510 Production Road, Jeffersonville.
New recruit, take advantage of our apprenticeship program. Come out of our 4-year course debt-free. With health insurance, a guaranteed pension, a degree, and an electrical license.
3 words I'd use to describe the apprenticeship are opportunity, skillful, educational,
solid career path,
rewarding, beneficial, and a brotherhood.
A life-changing opportunity.
The cost of school is free. All your books are paid for.
You go to school once every 2 weeks. All the other stuff is on-the-job training.
The teachers here are great. They're all very, very knowledgeable.
They're preparing you for what you're already seeing in the field.
If you're struggling with something in school, sometimes your fellow students can help you work through that.
Everyone's willing to help each other. It's like a big family.
I love being a part of a union, something bigger than myself.
This field is so vast. You can find something that you really love to do because there is so much you can do.
I went from a job to a life-changing career.
Power up your potential with the IBEW.
People want to define Gen Z, but that's our job.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital. I put out a forest fire. I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Blind direct, not just blinds. Blind direct, not just blinds.
The one way a good person goes to prison is to hurt or kill someone while driving drunk. Why would you throw your life away? John and I are asking you, please don't drink and drive.
This segment of tonight's game is brought to you by the law offices of DeCamillis and Mattingly in Louisville. Our reputation is our trademark.
This morning's Inside Look is presented by Blinds Direct. Looking for the best in home decor? At Blinds Direct, they offer custom blinds, wallpaper, and more. proudly serving Louisville for over 30 years. Visit blindsdirect.com for more. Mark, first let's talk more about this Johnson Central team.
Okay, Chris. Yeah, I've had the opportunity to see them twice on film. They definitely get up and down the court and make things happen. At least that's their M.O. As far as tonight, what they're going to have to do, or this morning, in order to have that opportunity that Coach talked about in the end of the game, they have to limit their turnovers. That's a must. The defense of Sacred Heart does a good job of creating turnovers. They have to limit them. Second thing, they have to dominate the defensive boards. They really do. They can't give Sacred Heart second and third shots. And then they really need to attack. The Johnson Golden Eagles have to attack with their offense. They need to create fouls, and they need to get to the free throw line and make free throws. That does one thing for them. It scores for them. The other thing for them is it potentially puts the Valkyries in maybe some foul trouble.
Coach very high on his defense, only giving up 43 points a game, and he mentioned that they're the third leading scoring group in the state at 67. The problem is Sacred Heart leads at 73.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and when you get to this point in time in the season, Chris, those stats are pretty tight. You know, I mean, they're pretty well documented. What I would say, though, is Sacred Heart has played a much better schedule, you know, just by virtue of where they are and what they're able to do, and that also gives them a little bit different look at a lot of different things, and they've seen pressure before.
Eagles coach Jim Hicks, the nephew of Hall of Famer Billy Hicks, and Jim really almost kind of came out of semi-retirement to take this job. He spent much of his career on the boys' side.
Yeah, a long-time boys coach. Actually, I knew Coach Hicks really well. Coach Billy Hicks, great coach, Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. So, you know, he's been under a wonderful guy and a great coach. So I'm sure he took a lot of those lessons. He'll bring those to today, because one thing, if you know about Coach Hicks at Scott County boys, they were always in the region finals, and if Oldham didn't get them, they were usually in the state tournament.
What's an inside look on Sacred Heart?
Sacred Heart, the big three have to stay out of foul trouble. That's Johnson, Jordan, and Wilkins. They need to really avoid foul issues. They're not as deep as they have been in the past, and that could be a real Achilles heel if that were to happen to the Valkyries. The next thing is they run a great transition offense. They're known for the way they run the court. You know, finishing is going to be really important in their transition. So they have, you know, positive opportunities, and they finish those shots. That's going to be big. And then limiting their turnovers against the Golden Eagle pressure. You know, they press, and you know, that's going to be important ball care. You know, the basketball's gold tonight for both teams.
This broadcast is copyrighted by the Kentucky High School Athletic Association for the private use of our audience. The use of pictures, video, and audio without the express written permission of the KHSAA is prohibited. Donna Moyer, her 34th season as head coach of the Valkyries, and she'll converse with Mark Evans on the other side of this timeout. We're 11 minutes from live basketball in Lexington.
Not just Blinds Direct, not just blinds.
You cannot depend on Carl to make peace with his seatbelt.
Today.
Or on Beth to choose the best meal to go.
Is that soup?
Or on Stephanie's perfect parking spot to stay perfect. But you can depend on their car starting because they have Interstate batteries. Interstate batteries, outrageously dependable.
Come by Interstate Batteries, 1510 Production Road, Jeffersonville.
UA Local 502 is offering great career opportunities for plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. They're seeking highly skilled and trained workers with or without experience. Incentives include debt-free education, employer-funded benefits, apprenticeship that comes with employment, and high starting wages. If you're ready to accelerate your career or just want a fresh start, UA Local 502 could be for you. Contact them at 502-361-8492. UA Local 502. We do it right the first time.
1965 male graduate and basketball star George Tensley knows the value of providing quality service, and that's what you get when you dine with Tensley Family Concessions. They provide travelers with many fine choices at Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Whether it's Kentucky Fried Chicken, Chili's, or Starbucks, you know your travel experience will be a more comfortable and convenient one. Learn more about our company by visiting the website tfcfamily.com.
Founded in 1910 in the Ohio Valley region, German American Bank has been raising the standards in banking and wealth management for over a century. Big enough to provide the conveniences of modern banking, yet small enough to care about the people and communities we serve. Because we believe that when a community thrives, its people prosper. We're lending more than money. We're lending a hand. German American Bank, building our community together.
Only your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer has genuine parts, accessories, trained service technicians, and the widest selection of innovative Cub Cadet products. We're here for you whenever you need us, with expert service and support to keep your equipment running at peak performance for years to come. Visit your locally owned power equipment dealer, Anderson Sales and Service in Madison, Crestwood, and our newest location at 1675 Watterson Trail in Louisville. You're watching Louisville Basketball Game Night from Glycon.
This is Mark Evans with Don and Moyer, Hall of Fame, head coach of the Sacred Heart Valkyries, vying for a 5th consecutive state championship. And me being around it for all those years, it is unbelievable, Donna, what you've done in that program, and it's just unreal where you're sitting at this point in time. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it is. It's you know, you just put these dates on your calendar and make that your goal. And to be able to come here for 6 straight years is just amazing, especially how tough the 7th region is and the competition. And but that's a credit to my coaches and all the players that have played in our program that, you know, they bought into what we're doing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. What about your nerves? Do you do anything in particular to calm them a little bit?
You know, it is nerve-wracking. I don't know. I don't eat before I come, so I'll be eating something afterwards. But, you know, just try to stay in the moment and embrace it. And, you know, we ride over in 2 vans, so my van was kind of loud, so I'm kind of excited. I think they're ready to play.
Good. I don't have any doubts about it. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. What about health? Everybody's pretty good shape?
Everybody's good. We are very healthy, knock on wood.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, we kind of, you know, taper back in the postseason because I feel like in the past when I've had good teams, you know, something weird's always happened. So we've tried to tailor back a lot of things and try to keep everybody healthy so we could make a run.
Well, what about this Johnson Central team? What are your thoughts on that? I know they press from end to end the entire time, but you need to make a shot every once in a while to be able to press.
Yeah, I mean, they press. They're very physical. You know, they've got some good shooters. We're like, all right, who's the 3 shooters that we're going to get out on and try to run them off the 3-point line. We think we've got a little size advantage in the post. So, we're going to be looking to get in there a little bit, but and we worked a lot on handling their press, but they've got to score to get in the press, so hopefully we can keep them from doing that.
Great. As far as, I know your kids know exactly where they are at this point in time, but what will your pregame message be to your ladies before they hit this floor?
It's going to be like, have fun. We've put in the work. And I've got 8 new kids. I mean, people think like, hey, you're a really experienced team, and we are in spots, but we've got 8 kids that have never been here. They've never been to Rupp, and they're excited and they're nervous, which makes it fun. I did learn today, Zakai got named the Gatorade Player of the Year.
Congratulations.
For 4 straight years. So I'd be hard pressed to know anybody that's done that. So that's an honor for her, and I'm sure they'll keep coming, hopefully.
Well, you run a wonderful program, no doubt about it. I mean, you and I went head-to-head forever, and that's why we're so close to this day, I guess. But bottom line is, she's just a class act. There's no doubt about it. We talked endlessly about her family. You have one of your top players today, a Bree, that's never been here before.
Yeah.
So this, we'll see how she handles those nerves, because she's a big key for you.
She is a key for us. And, actually walking out of the locker room when we were playing Assumption in the semifinals of the region, she goes, I've never won a regional basketball game. So much less here she is on a big stage. So, and she's handled that very well. So I think if she could get an easy bucket and settle in, she's a big part of our team for sure.
And I think she's a gamer. I wouldn't want to leave her open on a key situation. Without a doubt.
No, and she sees the floor well. She can pass the ball too.
She sure does, and she'll get in there and get you some big rebounds and a lot of offensive rebounds. She has a knack for getting to the weak side boards.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I just wish you the best of luck and think the world of you, and I look forward to covering you this entire week. I expect to be here Saturday night with you. I'm not going to knock on wood again.
Knock on wood.
Right,
but thanks, and we appreciate all Glycod's done to just raise the exposure of girls basketball in Kentucky. And we've had many games on this year, and Chris has done a great job. And appreciate you all being here to cover us.
Well, Chris is a class act, and he's put together a real good program. I said I would never do what I'm doing, but I'm glad I have.
Well, you're good at it, so we're glad we have you.
Well, thank you, Don.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Good luck.
Go ahead. Pour it on. As thick as you want to. Holy Smokes Barbecue and Catering. Serving up the tastiest ribs, chicken, brisket, brown sugar sticky wings, mutton and ham. Always served to you fresh and so good, it'll make you say,
"Holy smokes!"
Holy Smokes Barbecue and Catering, 7508 Preston Highway.
Holy smokes!
Hey, I didn't order any pizza.
Jake from State Farm. After you saved me so much dough on insurance with that Parker promo, I devised a promo for you.
Here's the deal, Parker. State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Right. Pepperoni pockets, cuckoo crusties.
There's no promo, it's just great rates.
And a cider ranch.
For surprisingly great rates and great service, call State Farm agent Mike Shelton in Louisville today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Research has shown high school sports to be a great community influence. Join scores of local businesses that have partnered with Glycod in sponsoring live, hometown-oriented sports programming on our video and social media platforms. For more information, email info@glycod.com.
UA Local 502 is offering great career opportunities for plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. They're seeking highly skilled and trained workers with or without experience. Incentives include debt-free education, employer-funded benefits, apprenticeship that comes with employment, and high starting wages. If you're ready to accelerate your career or just want a fresh start, UA Local 502 could be for you. Contact them at 502-361-8492. UA Local 502. We do it right the first time.
Are you an HVAC and refrigeration tech looking for new opportunities? Tech 24 is your single source for commercial HVAC, refrigeration, and kitchen equipment maintenance all across the country. We have exciting career opportunities with great pay and benefits in your area. To learn more, contact Brad at 864-549-8344 and check us out on the web at mytech24.com. 864-549-8344.
People want to define Gen Z, but that's our job.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital. I put out a forest fire. I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives. And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
This segment of tonight's game is brought to you by the Kentucky Army National Guard. Serve your country while going to school or work full-time. Find your fit at nationalguard.com.
Check it. Ooh.
Need a better battery? Get an Interstate battery. Outrageously dependable.
Should have had an Interstate.
Come by Interstate Batteries, 1510 Production Road, Jeffersonville.
From Glycon, it's UA Local 502 Louisville Basketball Game Night. UA Local 502, they do it right the first time. Tonight's game is brought to you by Tinsley Family Concessions, commitment to quality. The Army National Guard, where the next greatest generation is now. German American Bank, building our community together. Polo Real Estate Group, a realtor you can trust. IBEW Local 369, power up your potential. Blunt Dental Group, straightforward smiles. State Farm Insurance Agent Mike Shelton, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And Holy Smokes Barbecue. Now courtside for all the action from Glycon on UA Local 502 Louisville Basketball Game Night.
Back live at Rupp Arena at Central Bank Center in downtown Lexington. Time now for your starting lineups presented by Interstate Batteries. Get started with Interstate Batteries. They're outrageously dependable. Tootie Jordan, Zakiah Johnson, Caroline Osting, Morgan Frey, and Brianna Wilkins, the starters for Sacred Heart. Johnson, of course, the reigning McDonald's All-American and all-time leading scorer at SHA, 3,788 points in her career. As we take a look at the starters for the home team, Johnson Central, 5'8" freshman guard Carly Stanley leads them at 11 points per game. She'll be joined by Addison Burchett, Kaylin McKenzie, Maddie Prater, and Haley Marcelette. Both Burchett and McKenzie also average double figures. Mark, this is a well-balanced Golden Eagles offense.
Yeah, absolutely so. Definitely well-balanced. Guard heavy, pretty much all guards. I mean, the one forward is only, she is 6 foot tall, but the rest of them are small. So guards and scoring guards, and that's what you want. You want to be able to, have a well-balanced team where if they take away one or two, you still have 2 or 3 to step up and knock down big shots for you. And it's going to take that from Johnson Central today.
Chris Ambergy, Ray Hill, Michael Stokes, the trio of this morning's officials. So the Valkyries going for their 5th consecutive state championship. No team has ever won that many.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it takes a lot of program, a lot of great players, a lot of great coaching, and a lot of luck, to stay away from the injury bug and things like that. But, they're very capable of running this table. Once again, they just have to stay away from fouls and certain things like that. That's going to be a key for Sacred Heart throughout the entire tournament.
Zakiah Johnson to jump it up for Sacred Heart opposite Haley Marcelette for Johnson Central.
Yeah, Donna talked about her size advantage. Chris, you can look out there and see a little bit of it. But a lot of times what tends to happen is they used to do it all the time, but they haven't done it as much recently. But in the region, I saw a lot of it. Zakiah will post up. She'll take advantage of big-time matchup issues, and she'll have an advantage inside today.
And Johnson Central, the home team, wins the tip.
Man-to-man by Sacred Heart. They play it often. They play it well. It's a staple for their program.
Tootie Jordan locking down against Carly Stanley up top for Central. First possession of the game.
Well, they have excellent presence. They're long, they're lanky. I'm talking Sacred Heart Valkyrie defense. They rotate well to the weak side. They drop well. Those are all keys to make it difficult on teams. This Johnson Central team will have to be able to execute offense in order to be able to have a chance today.
Eagles rotated around the horn. That's McKenzie up top as Sacred Heart locking down through the first 40 seconds of this possession.
Well, if you watch, you see the communication going on in the back by the 4 and 5 players, and that's
driving is Marcelette. That shot is off the mark as Johnson Central attacking the offensive backboard, and we're going to have a held ball as Sacred Heart will have the arrow at the 7:04 mark of the first quarter.
Yeah, they'll have to continue to attack. I think that's the best philosophy that Johnson Central can possibly have.
There's Tootie Jordan into forecourt for the Valkyries. As Zakiah Johnson now near sideline. It's swung over. And stepping on the sideline is Caroline Osting for an unforced turnover.
Well, that's that pressure that Johnson Central talks about. I like the way they closed their traps that time. Did a nice job and forced a turnover.
Carly Stanley, the freshman point, working her opposite number, Tootie Jordan, at the point of attack. Right wing three, Kaylin McKenzie puts it in. McKenzie, her 73rd made three, and Fry bobbles it at the other end. And Johnson Central across the timeline leading by threes. The freshman Stanley idling and shadowed now by Bree Wilkins. And Stanley far sideline carving in. There's a 5-second call and great on-ball defense by Sacred Heart's Morgan Fry.
Yeah, they will switch. Sacred Heart switches on their man-to-man defense. So Carly Stanley's going to see several long players on her today. None more dangerous so than Tootie Jordan when Jordan's on her. Jordan has a way of taking the ball away from him.
Zakiah Johnson, an outlet pass. Riley Gilvin, and Gilvin connects. Fresh in the game, and the Valkyries with their first field goal.
Yeah, Riley's been a fantastic freshman for the Valkyries this year. She's really filled that role well. She makes things happen. She doesn't play like a freshman.
Great on-ball defense, Tootie Jordan. Sticking it away from Carly Stanley, and Stanley with a kick. It's going to stay Sacred Heart possession underneath at the 5:59 mark of this first quarter.
Well, as I mentioned, Chris, they haven't seen anybody as quick as Tootie Jordan on-ball defense. She's great at tipping the ball away. She's great at creating turnovers. They usually lead the layups.
There's Bree Wilkins to inbound underneath. Curious to hear her comment, or rather Donna Moyer's comment on her, that this is her first Sweet 16 game, but not for so many of her teammates. There's the inbound right underneath. It's gobbled up by Tootie Jordan. Up top, Zakiah Johnson. Johnson angling right through contact, and a Johnson Central foul cited on Carly Stanley.
Well, Chris, the one thing you cannot do is you cannot give Zakiah her right hand like that off the top of the key. But you have to go and pressure because she'll knock down a three on you if not.
Zakiah Johnson for 2 free throws. First one is in. 75% free throw shooter on the season is Johnson. One of the most polished high school players in the country. Both free throws are swished, and Sacred Heart has run off 4 in a row to take a 1-point lead with 5:48 in this opening quarter. And Johnson causing a travel up top. All that length really bothered Addison Burchett, and she lost track of her footing.
Well, as we spoke, Chris, I don't think Johnson Central sent any kind of defense like this the entire year. Now, I don't know their exact schedule, but, you know, Sacred Heart is awful tough.
And Tootie Jordan just nonchalant coming up the floor, lost the handle as the double team approached her, and Johnson Central will inbound length of the floor.
Well, we're 3 turnovers to start this game, but I'm going to tell you something. Johnson Central's got to be the team that most avoids them.
Tootie Jordan applying some pressure up top to Carly Stanley. Stanley some girth, drives in the lane, lofts that long, and the rebound catapults right out to Osting of Sacred Heart. There's Zakiah Johnson in the open floor. Euro step and basket. Johnson with the bucket at Johnson Central. 30-second timeout. Sacred Heart on top 6-3 with 5:14 in the first quarter. And Mark and I with more right after this.
If a drunk driver hurts or kills someone, the bar or restaurant that overserved that person is jointly responsible. I'm attorney John D. Camillus, and Rob and I hold restaurants and bars accountable. Let me speak directly to bar managers and bartenders. Be a frontline hero. Have the courage to cut someone off. If you've been in an accident with a drunk driver, call us. Our reputation is our trademark.
You're watching Louisville Basketball Game Night from Glycod.
Sacred Heart with 6 in succession with 5:14 in the first quarter, and that prompted a quick Johnson Central timeout.
Well, the problem is that Sacred Heart runs a great transition offense, and if you don't stop the transition offense, you don't stop them.
Valkyries with a 1-2-2 full court press to begin the inbound as Carly Stanley nudges it across the timeline. It's bobbled around and scarfed up by Zakiah. Down low, Tootie Jordan, layup in. Tootie with her first field goal. That's 8 in succession for Sacred Heart as Johnson Central now probing in the corner. Kaylin McKenzie spins baseline. Swirls the pass up top. Stanley, a well-blocked three. Johnson deflected it on the closeout, and Sacred Heart with numbers. Johnson, a corner three. That's short. And the rebound, Morgan Fry brings it in for Sacred Heart, and they'll recycle. And the pass backed in back court. That's Addison Burchett, and she is fouled by Tootie Jordan.
Yeah, right now the flow is going Sacred Heart ways, no doubt about it. They threw a little wrinkle out there today, Chris. They don't play a lot of 1-2-2 zone. I think that's just a different look, and it's been very successful so far against these Golden Eagles.
Addison Burchett tending to her ponytail behind her. She'll have 2 Johnson Central free throws, so they began this game, did the Eagles with a 3, and Sacred Heart scored the last 8 points. And that free throw is off to the right. Golden Eagles going to their bench. They're going to bring Allie Stone, 5'7", 8th grader, that's checked in. And that free throw short as Johnson snares the rebound for the Valkyries. And an 8-3 Sacred Heart lead. 4:20 first quarter. Zakiah Johnson, high left, splits the double team. Nudges it to Tootie Jordan in the corner. There's Tootie to a jump stop. Zakiah Johnson, a 3 up top, off to the left. And the rebound corralled for the second time by Morgan Fry underneath. And Fry being badgered by a pair of Central defenders. And it will be a Johnson Central foul.
Well, Morgan Fry had a tremendous region tournament. I think at one time she had 12 rebounds in the last couple of games each. She's really stepped her game up.
So the Valkyries inbound, leading 8-3, 4:04, opening 8 minutes. Tootie Jordan, high right. And Jordan takes a tumble, able to gobble up that loose ball, and the Valkyries hang on to it. In a poor decision, Caroline Osteen tried to funnel it underneath to Johnson, and it's swiped away. The Sacred Heart piling up on those early turnovers.
Unlike them, but that's probably a little bit of jitters on their side.
Allie Stone, the 8th grader, will carve it up top for Johnson Central. Around now to Haley Marcelette, and Johnson with the theft, and Zakiah lays it up and in. And Johnson Central gonna burn another 30-second timeout. Valkyries by a touchdown, and more from Lexington after this timeout on Glycod.
Founded in 1910 in the Ohio Valley region, German American Bank has been raising the standards in banking and wealth management for over a century. Big enough to provide the conveniences of modern banking, yet small enough to care about the people and communities we serve. Because we believe that when a community thrives, its people prosper. We're lending more than money. We're lending a hand. German American Bank, building our community together.
You're watching Louisville Basketball Game Night from Glycod.
3:29 remaining in the opening quarter. Sacred Heart on a 10-0 burst.
Well, the thing about it is like we talked about, Sacred Heart's making some uncharacteristic turnovers, but their length and their defense is turning this Golden Eagle team over, and they're finishing on their turnovers, Sacred Heart is, and that's giving them a big advantage. Back to their 1-2, 1-1 pressure.
And Gilvin and Fry collaborating on the inbound. The pass deflected out, so it stays with Johnson Central. As Carly Stanley, the freshman, back in, and their coach, Jim Hicks, he has wasted no time pausing play, burning 2 early timeouts.
Well, Coach Hicks has been around and done that. He knows that you have to stop these Sacred Heart runs, so you got to use what you have to use.
And Johnson Central acrobatically bringing it into forecourt as Stone, able to maintain possession. And Allie Stone will handle up top. Just over 3 minutes in this opening quarter. Here's Stanley, reverse pivoting, top of the key. Tootie Jordan, on-ball defense. And now Stone inches it around the corner. Back to Addison Burchett. High arcing 3, McKenzie in and out. And Zakiah Johnson claims the Sacred Heart rebound as Zakiah head up. And able to scarf it up as she lost it momentarily. There's Caroline Osting, and now she'll exchange with Tootie Jordan as Jordan pauses left. Fry underneath. Morgan Fry pauses. Gilvin from 6. It's in.
Yeah, just an excellent job of ball movement by the Sacred Heart Valkyries. Good ball reversal, good cuts. Right now it's all Johnson Central can do. They're trying to run a flex offense that you used to see quite some time ago, but if you run it and run it well, it's a pretty good offense.
A 12-0 Sacred Heart run, and a foul on Caroline Osting of the Valkyries as she collided with the shooter far baseline, and Johnson Central to the free throw line for 2. Valkyries going to send on Becca Carson to the scores table, and Becca checks in as Caroline Osting exits.
Well, Becca is a coach's daughter, one of Donna's main assistants over there, and Becca's a three-point specialist. That's what she likes to do, is shoot threes. There's a reason she doesn't have any free throws. She's not attacked the basket all year long.
Got an immediate break. Sacred Heart leading 12-3, 2:08 first quarter. Mark and I with more right after this timeout.
UA Local 502 is offering great career opportunities for plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. They're seeking highly skilled and trained workers with or without experience. Incentives include debt-free education, employer-funded benefits, apprenticeship that comes with employment, and high starting wages. If you're ready to accelerate your career or just want a fresh start, UA Local 502 could be for you. Contact them at 502-361-8492. UA Local 502. We do it right the first time.
People want to define Gen Z, but that's our job.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital. I put out a forest fire. I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives and led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full time.
While I work full time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
You're watching Louisville Basketball Game Night from Glycon.
2:08 to play in the first quarter. Sacred Heart 12 straight points, and they lead 12-3 as Johnson Central awaiting 2 free throws.
Well, the bottom line here is, Chris, is they've only scored 1 basket. And if you can't score, it's hard to get in their pressure defense. And so right now they're having to fall back in man-to-man. And right now, transition defense has been a real issue for Johnson Central Golden Eagles. Sacred Heart's owning that. The only Achilles on Sacred Heart so far is they made a few more turnovers than normal, but I think that's just the excitement of the moment.
Zakiya Johnson with 6 of Sacred Heart's 12. Riley Gilvin 2 for 2 coming off the bench. She has 4 points. And Kaylin McKenzie right now accounting for all of Johnson Central's baskets. That was a game-opening 3.
Yeah, that was nice to see go down for Johnson Central, but they need a few more if they're going to stay in this first half at all.
Johnson Central misfiring from the foul line. They're 0 of 3 as Addison Burchett comes up short. She'll have one more 74% free throw shooter. And the second one out as well, and Johnson collects the Sacred Heart rebound. And Zakiya calling her own number. She sachets into front court. Skip pass near sideline. Bree Wilkins launches a 3, and that's short. And there's Fry on the glass again for the Valkyries. And then Fry driving to the basket, lost it. And the rebound gobbled up by McKenzie of Johnson Central. There's Allie Stone now patiently creeping into front court with 1:38 in this first quarter. Wilkins tried to find Stanley at the foul line. Johnson with the steal, drives all the way and puts it in.
That's a spectacular defense by Zakiya. She got what we call thin and got the denial and tipped it to herself for the takeaway.
There's a 3 in the near side corner. Carly Stanley raises it in, and it's 14-6 with 1:11 first quarter. That's going to break about a 6.5-minute drought for Johnson Central. Riley Gilvin drives. It's off. Fry with a rebound. And Morgan will be called for a travel. So with 1:01 in the quarter, Johnson Central will sub back in starter Maddie Prater, 5'7" senior. And full court press for the Valkyries awaits them. Across the timeline, far sideline, it's Stone. Stone skips it, baseline jumper. Prater rains it in, a long 2. So Maddie Prater just in the game makes a jumper, and it's 14-8 Valkyries with 45 seconds left in the quarter.
It gave Johnson Central the opportunity to get into their 2-2-1 press, but Valkyries blew right through it.
Sure did. Zakiah Johnson right down the floor, basket caught for Gilvin, and then Riley's 3 out of 3 from the field. 28 seconds now in the quarter. As Stanley tangled up with Morgan Fry, the arrow held ball stays Johnson Central with 25 seconds to play.
Well, right now you're seeing the impact of Fry, Chris. I mean, she's all over the place for the Valkyries. You know, she's really stepped her game up the last couple weeks.
Tootie Jordan back in as Riley Gilvin exits to a rounding ovation as Sacred Heart protecting an 8-point late first quarter advantage. Here's the inbound in backcourt as Johnson Central will have it. Allie Stone, the backup point guard, with Carly Stanley now the normal point playing off the ball. And Stone being badgered up top by Becca Carson with 12 seconds in the quarter. Now with 5 seconds, Tootie Jordan all in her grill at 3 seconds. Long three by McKenzie, not nearly enough time to get it off, and great suffocating Sacred Heart defense to close the first. They lead Johnson Central 16-8. Second quarter on the way back from Glycod.
The one way a good person goes to prison is to hurt or kill someone while driving drunk. Why would you throw your life away? John and I are asking you, please don't drink and drive.
Research has shown high school sports to be a great community influence. Join scores of local businesses that have partnered with Glycod in sponsoring live, hometown-oriented sports programming on our video and social media platforms. For more information, email info@glycod.com.
You're watching Louisville Basketball Game Night from Glycod.
Chris LeBar and Mark Evans back in Lexington. 16-8, Sacred Heart leading Johnson Central as we get set for the second quarter. What stood out, Mark, in the first 8 minutes?
Well, if the Valkyries was not turning the ball over, the game would pretty much be almost over, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I know it's early to say that, but, you know, the one thing is that when Johnson Central can get in their pressure defense and trap and scramble and this type of thing, they are creating some chaos, and it's helping them out a little bit. But once again, Johnson Central's got to do a better job of their transition defense, no doubt about it. That's where Sacred Heart thrives. That's where they thrive right now. Sacred Heart shooting 50% right now from the field, and Johnson Central shooting 33%. And that's just because Johnson Central hit 2 big shots right at the end of that first quarter.
Zakiah with 8 early points as the Valkyries, again, fell behind by 3 and then went on a 10-0 burst. They're up now 16-8 as we get set for quarter number 2. Courier Journal sports columnist Jason Frakes is seated in front of us. He will join us at halftime. We'll get his observations on the first day plus of this year's Girls Sweet 16. And coming up after this one will be Mercy and Cooper. That game not being streamed, but the winner of that one will take on the winner of this one tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. So Johnson Central to inbound, length of the floor. Now check that, Sacred Heart has it, I beg your pardon, as the Valkyries shuttle it inside court. Here's Tootie Jordan near sideline for the Valkyries. Up top, Bree Wilkins. Zakiah Johnson, a 3 left wing, is in!
Chris, credit goes to the coaching staff. That was a call play out of the quarter break, and they ran it to perfection. You'll have to execute like that down the road against the better competition as you move on.
Zakiah with 11 early as Johnson Central possesses the ball. Carly Stanley, far sideline for the Golden Eagles. Good on-ball defense by Becca Carson. There's a left sideline 3, a little bit short, and the rebound collected by Zakiah Johnson as McKenzie's shot comes up empty. Carson, a trailing wing 3, it's in! Becca Carson, a big 3 in the lead now at 14 points.
That's her bread or butter. She likes to run that right wing and get those transition threes.
And Johnson Central in all sorts of discomfort now as we tiptoe under 7 minutes in this first half. Carly Stanley trying to veer in. Nice, crafty pass to the left, and the basket erased by Zakaya. And there's Morgan Fry staving off defenders to get the Valkyrie rebound. First foul of this second quarter on either team, as Johnson Central brings back Addison Burchett, and Maddie Prater, fellow senior starter, checks out.
Well, they went man press. Watch the long ball.
Ball inbounded to Carson, who has to be feeling good after making that last three for Sacred Heart. There's Zakaya Johnson, and overshoots Morgan Fry, and it's going to trickle all the way length of the floor out of bounds.
It was a right idea, just missed the middle. What I like about Sacred Heart is when they're breaking down the press, they always keep one back behind the ball, so ball reversal's easy. They don't have to throw over hands.
Just over 6:20 in this first half. Johnson Central driving. There's a corner three off the mark from Kaylin McKenzie. And Fry in pursuit of the rebound. Touched it last as Haley Marcelette of Johnson Central there as well, but it will be Golden Eagles ball. Eagles inbound, lofted, and Tootie Jordan able to deflect it. Far sideline, and the officials say it's going to belong to Red, so Sacred Heart gets it.
Yeah, Chris, I thought that might be an interesting call. I think that ball was right on top of the official, and looked to me as if Tootie tipped it out, but doesn't matter.
Just over 6 minutes now, first half. Tootie Jordan lobs to Morgan Fry, and she'll put it in. And Johnson Central wanting a full timeout. Fry is on the board, and a 24-8 Sacred Heart lead with 6:08 in the first half. Now this from Tech 24 on Glycod.
Are you an HVAC and refrigeration tech looking for new opportunities? Tech 24 is your single source for commercial HVAC, refrigeration, and kitchen equipment maintenance all across the country. We have exciting career opportunities with great pay and benefits in your area. To learn more, contact Brad at 864-549-8344 and check us out on the web at mytech24.com. 864-549-8344.
This segment of tonight's game is brought to you by Tech 24, a commercial food service repair company. Find out how you can train for a rewarding career and earn top pay and benefits by visiting mytech24.com.
Valkyries with the first 8 points of this second quarter, and the lead now stands at 16 with 6:08 and a half.
I think the nerves are over for the Sacred Heart Valkyries. They look smooth, and anytime you let Tootie Jordan get in the open court and they run lanes like they run lanes, that time Morgan Fry, you expect those finishes right at the basket, and that's what happened. And once again, Coach had to call a quick timeout, try to weather the storm and get this thing to halftime and come up with a different plan.
They've got 6 Valkyries in the scoring column. That speaks to their depth and what has been a very sound last 6 or 8 minutes.
Well, one thing about Coach Moore, she's not afraid to use her bench. And, throughout the year, they're able to use their bench completely. And even in the tight games, and admire her courage. She's always getting her bench in there so they're ready for situations like today in this tournament.
And Becca Carson staying on the floor. She's given this Valkyrie team a lift on both sides, offensively and defensively.
Becca's really improved on the defensive end of the court. She really liked offense, but as any player that plays for Donna, she won't be on the court if she don't play defense.
Morgan Fry face guarding the Johnson Central inbounder. And now the Eagles able to bring it in as the ball diagonally passed across to Haley Marcelette. Marcelette trying to find Allie Sloan in the corner, and Sloan able to hang on to it as Johnson Central. Every pass contested as they try to set up shop in the half court. And Stanley on the weave lost the handle. There's Zakaya Johnson poking it away, and Johnson on the way up lost it out. It's going to stay Valkyries as Marcelette back to knock it out of play.
Well, I think Ralston's entered the game too, Chris, and I'll tell you what, she's a very good freshman also. She's a good defender, and she can really play.
That's Tari Ralston, whom Mark mentions, number 4'5'7" freshman. Tootie Jordan goes baseline. Back up top. Carson, a three. In again! Becca Carson off the bench, draining 2 threes. That's going to match a season high. And the Valkyries 27-8 with 5:20 first half. Maddie Prater angling it around to Addison Burchett. Burchett, nice pirouette in the lane, and it's erased and blocked by Morgan Fry. Up now to Becca Carson of the Valkyries. She'll weave her way to the basket. And the intended pass, trying to find Ralston. It's
on is being able to push the ball up and down the court. She used to have just one pace. Now she can change pace.
Carson inbounding Tootie Jordan. Jordan up, off on the shot, collected and connected by Zakiya Johnson. So Johnson, the offensive rebound and putback, and a Sacred Heart cushion with 4:40 second quarter.
Well, Chris, their defense is just smothering. It's really hard for Johnson Central to even get into any form of an offense right now.
Addison Burchett weaves it around to Maddie Prater for the Golden Eagles. There's Prater inching in the lane, split the double team. Shot comes up empty, and Morgan Fry tangles up with Haley Marcelette underneath. The arrow in favor this time of Johnson Central. Valkyries send on 5'10 junior Emma Zutterman as Morgan Fry will exit. And checking out Tootie Jordan as Bree Wilkins comes back in. So a much larger lineup on the floor now for the Valkyries. Nice crafty move. Stanley missed the shot from the left elbow, but the Eagles got the rebound and pitched it out of bounds far sideline. Jim Hicks to our left saying, go on and shoot that ball instead of passing it out. And Becca Carson in backcourt finds Wilkins as the Valkyries trying to bring it across the timeline. Wilkins, the big, does the honor. In the corner now, Ralston feeds the post. Zutterman puts it in. Emma Zutterman is giving the Sacred Heart Valkyries a 31-8 lead.
Well, Wilkins is an excellent guard, and she can handle it as well as anybody in the team pretty much. And she broke the defense down that time and made the play.
Carly Stanley, top of the key, as Wilkins all in her face, and that's going to cause a turnover. Gobbled up by Tari Ralston, and Ralston sealed off and then throws it out of bounds as Carson was cutting, and the ball to Becca's left, out of bounds near sideline.
Yeah, I think Ralston got a little bit frustrated that time. I think she was asking for a foul, and I didn't really see the foul, but, you know, sometimes these freshmen, physical play might get under the skin a little bit more than what they will in a year or two.
Nearing the 3:30 mark of this first half, Sacred Heart on top, 31-8. Off the screen, McKenzie tried to get a three up, and Zakiya Johnson called for a foul as she bumped her on the closeout. Be a side-out possession for Johnson Central.
Yeah, Johnson Central's looking for a little bit of a form of a flex cut, looking for the pop to the top and looking for the three right now. And, you know, once again, Sacred Heart switches so well, they're not getting much looks. They're not getting a very good look, put it that way.
Becca Carson exits for the Valkyries, and she provided a huge lift as Riley Gilvin back in for Sacred Heart. Just over 3 minutes in the half. There's Carly Stanley, far corner, and that's an over and back violation as Bree Wilkins causing some distress.
Yeah, Chris, it's really hard running an offense from midcourt, and that's what the Sacred Heart team does to you. They force you out so far from the basket that it's just it's a tremendous labor to get a good shot.
As Gilvin on the handle for the Valkyries, a very impressive turn of foot for Sacred Heart to open up this big lead, and there's a foul at the 2:57 mark on Johnson Central, cited on Haley Marcelette. That's going to take us to a media break. A 31-8 Sacred Heart lead, 2:57 in this first half. We'll step aside, be right back after this.
The one way a good person goes to prison is to hurt or kill someone while driving drunk. Why would you throw your life away? John and I are asking you, please don't drink and drive.
Research has shown high school sports to be a great community influence. Join scores of local businesses that have partnered with Glycod in sponsoring live, hometown-oriented sports programming on our video and social media platforms. For more information, email info@glycod.com.
You're watching Louisville Basketball Game Night from Glycod.
Alongside former Mercy head coach and 2010 Kentucky High School state champion Mark Evans, I'm Chris LeBar. Welcome back, and the Valkyries really opening things up now, Coach.
Yeah, tremendously impressive. It starts with their great defense, and it ends with their transition offense, and that's vintage Sacred Heart right now.
31-8 Valkyrie lead, and it's a wide mass of contributions, and the points off turnover is very pivotal.
Oh, absolutely. It's now that Sacred Heart only had one turnover this quarter so far. It's turned like I was concerned for Johnson Central could be. Right now, Johnson Central has not made a shot in the second quarter, and that's not a recipe for lasting very long, I don't think.
Sacred Heart, 17 consecutive points scored in this game. And Johnson Central, we still have 19 minutes of game action. They only have 2 timeouts left. They have burned through 3 early stops.
Yeah, the only thing they have going for them is in the state tournament here, you have media timeouts every 4, so that gives them a long timeout, but coach is doing what he has to do. You have to stop the bleeding. It's too late if you don't, and he's doing the best he can for his young team, or for his team.
Great ovation to our immediate right, the Sacred Heart student section, in wide support of their student-athlete Valkyries, and a great turnout today from Lexington Road.
Well, absolutely. So far we talked about the shooting-wise. That quarter so far, Sacred Heart's 6 of 7, Johnson Central's 0 of 6.
As Riley Gilvin will pivot and find Emma Zutterman near sideline for the Valkyries. As Zutterman angles it to Atari Ralston. In the corner, Riley Gilvin inches it underneath. He had 2 bigs right there in the same space, and that caused a turnover. Here comes Allie Sloan for Johnson Central. Sloan pivots, lofts it up. It's long, and rebound secured by 33 Morgan Fry of Sacred Heart. Riley Gilvin right through Tari Ralston that was open underneath, and that's going to be a turnover.
Yeah, Donna's made quite some substitutions. She's really using her bench well. She's getting them in and getting them out, and now you see Zakai back on the floor.
Yeah, Zakai Johnson checks in as Emma Zutterman will exit for the Valkyries. 2:20 first half. And the Valkyries, as you see, leading handily. Allie Sloan, stolen away. Bree Wilkins. And Wilkins lays it in, and she's in the scoring column.
Yeah, I call Wilkins silk. I think she's a very smooth player. She shoots the ball well. She takes the ball to the basket well, as you could see, and she glides.
Wilkins again with a steal and layup. And we're on the way to a running clock, perhaps, with 1:44 in this first half.
Yeah, Sacred Heart after the first few minutes have turned into a dominant performance right now. They're showing what they have. They're a great defensive team, a great transition team, and they're just special all the way around.
There's a steal. Wilkins, 3 consecutive steals, this time on the pass, and Wilkins thought about a shot. Now she's going to hang on to it in the corner. Osting in the lane, skips it back out. Bree Wilkins, a 3 short from the left, and the rebound is off the baseline, and it's going to belong Johnson Central.
Yeah, typically if Bree gets that look, she knocks those shots down, I think at that time you got to give Morgan Fry a lot of credit. She knows exactly her situation. They let her open. They let her stay open. She chose not to shoot and pass the ball off and then do a different role.
With just over a minute in this first half, a 27-point Sacred Heart lead. 7 Valkyries have scored. There's Carly Stanley sealed off for Johnson Central. Now Stanley retreating just inside a half court on that big blue UK logo. There's Stanley now inching her way against Zakiya Johnson. And now she's going to kick it back to Maddie Prater, and Prater lost the handle on the drive. Zakiya Johnson up and in, and credit Riley Gilvin with the assist.
Yeah, once again, it's that Sacred Heart transition out of turnovers. Points off turnovers. No telling what that is when we see the stats.
Carly Stanley has that 3 rattle out in possession. Valkyries, we got a foul over the top on Kaylin McKenzie of Johnson Central.
Yeah, once again, Fry was in there rebounding, and that's what drew that foul.
Our first look at Emma Ferguson for Johnson Central, a 5'7" freshman. She'll wear number 14. And also 8th grader Cam Duncan. So Coach Jim Hicks going well into his bench here with 18 seconds in the half, and the Valkyries up huge. Gilvin drives, initiates contact, and she's going to head to the free throw line with 11.9 in the half.
Yeah, that was a close one, Chris. Fry was blocking out on that one and created a wide open lane.
Valkyries 16 points off Johnson Central turnovers as Riley Gilvin makes the free throw. The lead now at 30. Gilvin with 7. And make it 8, 39-8. 10 seconds first half as Johnson Central paces it up. There's Shepard, has it kicked away. Emma Zutterman with it at 4 seconds for Sacred Heart, up to Tari Ralston. And that shot from half court will be short and to the right, and that will take us to half. Wow, 39-8, Sacred Heart on top.
Well, the Golden Eagles are double-digit turnovers, and that's something, as we talked about in inside looks, that just could not happen. But they're just outmatched right now with the Sacred Heart defense and offense.
Valkyries putting it on Johnson Central, 39-8. Courier Journal sports columnist Jason Frakes will join us coming up. You're listening to the Sweet 16 opening round from Glycod.
UA Local 502 is offering great career opportunities for plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. They're seeking highly skilled and trained workers with or without experience. Incentives include debt-free education, employer-funded benefits, apprenticeship that comes with employment, and high starting wages. If you're ready to accelerate your career or just want a fresh start, UA Local 502 could be for you. Contact them at 502-361-8492. UA Local 502. We do it right the first time.
People want to define Gen Z, but that's our job.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital. I put out a forest fire. I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives and led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time while I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Welcome to Holy Smokes Barbecue.
At Holy Smokes Barbecue, our pitmasters smoke up mouth-watering ribs, chicken, brisket, mutton, and more. From sandwiches to full dinners, with a complete list of sides and desserts. Holy Smokes Barbecue. Just tell them that the man in the big white hat sent you.
Order up.
How's the pork chop taste?
It's pretty good. It's the best one I've ever had.
Holy Smokes Barbecue. Tell them the man in the big white hat sent you.
When you're buying or selling a new home and you want to do it with few hassles, count on Polo Real Estate Group. Founded and owned by 1993 Male High graduate Dion Reese, Polo Real Estate has over 2 decades of experience and offers skillful consultation and representation for your sale or purchase. Polo Real Estate Group, a realtor you can trust.
New recruit, take advantage of our apprenticeship program. Come out of our 4-year course debt-free. With health insurance, a guaranteed pension, a degree, and an electrical license.
3 words I'd use to describe the apprenticeship are opportunity, skillful, educational,
solid career path,
rewarding, beneficial, and a brotherhood.
A life-changing opportunity.
The cost of school is free. All your books are paid for.
You go to school once every 2 weeks.
All the other stuff is on-the-job training.
The teachers here are great. They're all very, very knowledgeable.
They're preparing you for what you're already seeing in the field.
If you're struggling with something in school, sometimes your fellow students can help you work through that.
Everyone's willing to help each other. It's like a big family.
I love being a part of a union, something bigger than myself.
This field is so vast. You can find something that you really love to do because there is so much you can do with it.
I went from a job to a life-changing career.
Power up your potential with the IBEW.
1965 male graduate and basketball star George Tensley knows the value of providing quality service, and that's what you get when you dine with Tensley Family Concessions. They provide travelers with many fine choices at Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Whether it's Kentucky Fried Chicken, Chili's, or Starbucks, you know your travel experience will be a more comfortable and convenient one. Learn more about our company by visiting the website tfcfamily.com.
Tonight's halftime report is brought to you by Tinsley Family Concessions, a tradition of corporate excellence and community service. For more, visit tfcfamily.com.
Halftime in Lexington and a 39-8 Sacred Heart lead over Johnson Central. Courier-Journal sports columnist Jason Frakes has been kind enough to join us. Your thoughts on a very powerful first half?
Yeah, just dominance by Sacred Heart, especially in that second quarter to shut out Johnson Central, not allow a point. I think first quarter, Zakiah came out and set the tone, pretty much did whatever she wanted to do, and now they're able to get some of the reserves in, get them some playing time out here, and just dominance at this point.
What is the separation entering this week between them and everyone else in this field?
I think it's still pretty big. People wanted to say there's a chink in the armor after they lost to Simon Kenton. You back and look at some of the stuff that happened in that game. I'm not sure that was such a big deal. Assumption played them tough in the regional. They only won that game by 1 point. I don't know that they're as dominant of a team as they were the last few years, but they're still dominant, and they still have the best player in the state, and she's a huge difference. Zakiah can just control the game from so many areas of the court, offensively and defensively, and there's some other good teams in this field, but I sometimes wonder if those other teams think they can beat Sacred Heart, and I think that's half the battle.
Mark Evans mentioned this earlier, just in terms of the philosophy for all these opponents this week, the defense. What are they going to try to do with Zakiah? What do you think the game plan's going to be?
Well, I think Assumption sort of gave the blueprint a little bit, in that regional, semifinal. They doubled her, they tripled her. They frustrated her a little bit, and so, but you have to have the horses to do that, and Assumption did. I'm not sure there's a lot of other teams that do. Now, GRC has a very talented team, but, Sacred Heart's dominated them the last 3 or 4 years. So, we'll see what they might throw at them if they meet them in the final. Cooper's always good defensively. If they end up, Sacred Heart Cooper tomorrow night in the quarterfinals, that could be a good matchup. But you've got to do something. You have to do something to keep Zakiah from controlling the game, but that's easier said than done for a lot of teams.
Cooper and Mercy, the next game here for a 1:30 tip. What do you look for in that one?
Mercy's really turned things around these last few weeks. They were struggling. I think they were 8-12 at one point. They've won 11 out of their last 13 games. If they can spread it around and knock down some threes, that's when they're at their best, shooting some threes. But Cooper's tough. They've been here 4 straight years. They have one of the best sophomores in the state, and Haley Knoll. I think it's going to be tough for Mercy, but nothing would shock me.
We're chatting with Jason Frakes, Courier-Journal Sports. Let's continue on the girls' basketball conversation. The 4 winners yesterday, North Laurel, GRC, you mentioned Douglas and Taylor County. Of those 4, would GRC be the one you may think may move on to Saturday evening?
I would think they're the favorite in that top half of the bracket. North Laurel, Brooke Nicholson had a great game yesterday. She's one of the best seniors in the state, going to Murray State. She'll give them a fighter's chance against GRC. And then I think Douglas was impressive last night against Simon Kenton. But that Douglas-Taylor County game is interesting because you got two of the best 8th graders in the state, and Tanaya Wade at Douglas and Kennedy Diener at Taylor County. So it's going to be fun watching those two go head-to-head.
Yeah, Sean Woods did the Douglas game with me last night. He is so fond of Wade. Wade started at Henry Clay last year, and just a tremendous talent. So that should be an interesting game. Wrap you up with this Valkyrie program. Donna Moyer, 34 years now, all she's accomplished. What is her legacy and imprint on this game, you think?
I think she's going to go down as the I don't think there's any argument, the most successful girls basketball coach in Kentucky high school basketball history. Look at all the state titles and all the wins. And she's got a few more to catch Randy Napier as the all-time winningest coach in the state. And she sticks around, she's probably going to get it.
She is. Thanks for stopping by, Jason.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
That's Jason Frakes, Courier-Journal sports columnist. 39-8, Sacred Heart leads Johnson Central at half. We'll have your first half stats on the other side of this timeout. We'll be right back after this.
1965 male graduate and basketball star George Tinsley knows the value of providing quality service. And that's what you get when you dine with Tinsley Family Concessions. They provide travelers with many fine choices at Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Whether it's Kentucky Fried Chicken, Chili's, or Starbucks, you know your travel experience will be a more comfortable and convenient one. Learn more about our company by visiting the website tfcfamily.com.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Mike Shelton in Louisville today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
If a drunk driver hurts or kills someone, the bar or restaurant that overserved that person is jointly responsible. I'm attorney John D. Camillus, and Rob and I hold restaurants and bars accountable. Let me speak directly to bar managers and bartenders. Be a frontline hero. Have the courage to cut someone off. If you've been in an accident with a drunk driver, call us. Our reputation is our trademark.
UA Local 502 is offering great career opportunities for plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. They're seeking highly skilled and trained workers with or without experience. Incentives include debt-free education, employer-funded benefits, apprenticeship that comes with employment, and high starting wages. If you're ready to accelerate your career or just want a fresh start, UA Local 502 could be for you. Contact them at 502-361-8492. UA Local 502. We do it right the first time.
Innovation is what allowed us to reach for the stars. And now, to reach for the ignition without changing your oil for what feels like forever. Introducing Oil Guard, a Ferris exclusive. This innovative Vanguard oil system lets you go 5 times longer between oil changes. Along with Ferris's patented suspension system, you'll cut faster, mow longer, and reduce maintenance.
You cannot depend on Carl to make peace with his seatbelt. Or on Beth to choose the best meal to go.
Is that soup?
Or on Stephanie's perfect parking spot to stay perfect. But you can depend on their car starting because they have Interstate batteries. Interstate batteries, outrageously dependable.
Come by Interstate Batteries, 1510 Production Road, Jeffersonville.
Founded in 1910 in the Ohio Valley region, German American Bank has been raising the standards in banking and wealth management for over a century. Big enough to provide the conveniences of modern banking, yet small enough to care about the people and communities we serve. Because we believe that when a community thrives, its people prosper. We're lending more than money. We're lending a hand. German American Bank, building our community together.
You're watching Louisville Basketball Game Night from Glycon.
Back live at Rupp Arena. Chris LeBar, Mark Evans, a 23-0 second quarter for the Valkyries.
Yeah, it was quite impressive, Chris. Looking at the statistics here, as you would think, there's not much on the Johnson Central side you'd want to be part of right now. It's been a tough road, and it all started with this great Sacred Heart defense. It just completely has made this game difficult for Johnson Central. It's tough to run an offense from half court.
Eagles only, as you see there, 5 rebounds. Sacred Heart, maybe 11 turnovers, too many for them. Something to clean up in the second half.
Well, yeah, and that's jitters. I mean, right at the very beginning of the game, you could tell Tootie was a gear a little bit too quick, and they were a little bit too wild right off the bat. But once they settled down in that second quarter, the end of the first quarter, second quarter, they were a force without a doubt.
Some individual numbers. Zakiah Johnson with the 15 points, the lone double-figure score in this game, 15 points on 6 of 9 shooting. Riley Gilvin, 8 points off the bench. Becca Carson, also a sub, with 6 points. And for Johnson Central, they've only made 3 field goals there, 3 of 16, with Carly Stanley and Haley Marcelette, each with 3 points. Where do they turn in the second half?
Well, first of all, they have to find a way to run their offense. That's number one. They're going to have to set really good screens, and they're going to have to reverse the ball to try to get this Sacred Heart defense loosened up. Now, that's easy to say, extremely difficult to do. The other thing they're going to have to do is find a way to stop that fast break of Sacred Heart, and one way you can do that is you got to make some shots. If they can make some shots, maybe they can get into their defenses. If they can get in their defenses, maybe they take away some of these easy opportunities. But right now, Sacred Heart's hitting on all cylinders. I mean, they're shooting almost 70% for the first half. They're dominating every category. They're 23 off turnovers points, and that's something we talked about early. 12 fast break points, 0 for Johnson Central. Johnson Central just hasn't had anything at all easy, Chris, and I don't see it changing in the second half. I would very much expect a running clock.
And how long do the Valkyries stay with some of their regulars?
Well, Donna will play her regulars throughout. I mean, it's right now they've already played 9 players with significant minutes. So she'll filter them in, filter them out. She's a smart coach. She's been here and she's done that. But she's not afraid. She lives by the day and the moment. She's not afraid of worrying about tomorrow right this minute. She'll try to make sure they have a good rhythm going out. They have a good feel at the end of the game. And that's what she's working for.
Valkyries left to right to start this second half. There's the inbound. Zakiah Johnson splits the double team, and an and one as the basket goes in, and a Golden Eagles early foul.
Well, that's good Valkyries. They just started as they left off.
Foul is on Maddie Prater as Zakiah now 17 points in this game. Going to try to add one from the foul line, and she will.
Well, you can totally understand why she's a 4-time Gatorade player in the United States.
Driving baseline, Maddie Prater, front court for Johnson Central. She throws it away, stolen by Tootie Jordan. Jordan puts it in a 44-8 Valkyrie lead.
Yeah, the Valkyries have had a chip on their shoulder all year long, Chris, to be honest with you.
Free throw jumper short. Morgan Fry snares the rebound. Outlet pass. Bree Wilkins runs the floor, puts it in. 46-8 and a running clock with 7:17 in the third.
Yeah, a lot of these teams down in the state thought, with all the loss of the post players that Donna had last year, that they would be down. They're not down. They're just different. They're a little bit quicker and they're a little bit more open post.
Tootie Jordan to deflect it out of bounds. So as the clock continues to run, the afternoon going to be pretty brief here with 6:54 in this third quarter.
Yeah, it's amazing. But that running clock, how fast it really goes by, how many few possessions you actually get.
And Tootie Jordan applying some pressure to Carly Stanley up top. Maddie Prater baseline. Shot underneath, going to come out from Kaylin McKenzie, and it's out of bounds. Sacred Heart with 6:33.
Once again, that's just great defense by by Zakiya. I mean, she just stands there with her hands up and times a jump. You know, there's no bailing them out on fouls because she just doesn't foul.
Tootie Jordan into forecourt for the Valkyries. Zakiya Johnson near wing. Zakiya between the wickets. Skip pass, Bree Wilkins. Extra pass, Caroline Osting. Osting has the pass post entry knocked out. It's going to touch Carly Stanley, last of Johnson Central.
Well, excellent job of moving the ball from side to side to the opposite corner. That makes the defense move. Sacred Heart does a good job of that.
And the officials going to absorb some, looked like he dropped something. The referee may have dropped some jewelry there. And meanwhile, the clock continues to run at 5:38.
Yeah, look for a three by Zakiya on this particular inbounds play.
Valkyries inbound at 5:25. There's Zakiya Johnson up top. And Johnson pretty much doing whatever she wants today. There's Bree Wilkins lofting it up in the lane. That shot short. And a held ball as Morgan Fry tied up Maddie Prater in the Arrow Johnson Central.
Well, you know, Johnson can play all 5 positions. I mean, she handles the ball extremely well. That's one of the things that she's most improved on in the 4 years.
Should be an interesting few days here in Lexington as Valkyries easily moving on today. That's a nice runner going to go down for Carly Stanley for her 5th point.
Yeah, I like Carly Stanley. She's a good ball player. She just has she's got a lot of defense on her tonight, a lot of length on her, but she definitely can move. She's going to be a good player as time goes on. She's already a good player as a freshman.
And Zakiya Johnson to inbound side court for the Valkyries. And Addison Burchett on the defensive end as Johnson will handle top of the key. Tootie Jordan, an open 3 is in from the left.
Well, Chris, when you talk about Tootie, that's the most improvement she's had. She really improved her outside shot, and she's deadly from the free throw line.
Johnson in the passing lane, downhill for 2. And a full timeout for Johnson Central. Play stopped with 4 minutes in the 3rd quarter, and Sacred Heart well on their way. On Glycod.
Are you an HVAC and refrigeration tech looking for new opportunities? Tech 24 is your single source for commercial HVAC, refrigeration, and kitchen equipment maintenance all across the country. We have exciting career opportunities with great pay and benefits in your area. To learn more, contact Brad at 864-549-8344 and check us out on the web at mytech24.com. 864-549-8344.
This segment of tonight's game is brought to you by Tech 24, a commercial food service repair company. Find out how you can train for a rewarding career and earn top pay and benefits by visiting mytech24.com.
Sacred Heart 51, Johnson Central 10 with 4 minutes to play in this 3rd quarter. Valkyries well on their way. They will await the winner of today's 1:30 game between Cooper and Mercy for a quarterfinal game tomorrow night at 8:30. Glycod will have that one for you as well. And there's so many positives in this game this afternoon.
Yeah, it's definitely a feel-good game. Now the key is get in and out of this game for the Valkyries without any unfortunate happenings. Yeah, no injuries, no this, no that, and stay healthy throughout the week. That's going to be their key.
Hearing Coach Moyer in your discussion just talk about the makeup of this team, this was a little bit of a new team, 8 players, new to the program coming in. So she's, it's not always been bells and roses, and whistles.
No. I mean, anytime you have the big 3 that they have, and that's Wilkins and Jordan and Johnson, you have a big edge over everybody else in the state, to be honest with you. But it's the other kids. It's like the Fries. It's like Carolyn Osting. It's like Riley Gilvin, Ralston. They've all really stepped. Becca Carson today. I mean, they've all really stepped up. And the more opportunity they've had, more experience they've gained, the better they've become. And now they're a solid team and they have their own identity as one of the many Sacred Heart great teams.
And Johnson Central pacing into front court. There's the freshman Carly Stanley. Corner three, that's off from Addison Burchett, and Valkyries run. Rebound, Wilkins puts it in. Just ahead of everyone in transition.
Yeah, this is a difficult time for Donna, Coach Moore, because, as you spoke, you got to make some decisions. You don't want to lose your continuity, but you got to get some people in and get some people out. You want to make sure your starters are fresh going into tomorrow night.
Got 3 new Valkyries coming in at the next whistle. You're going to see Gabby DeCamillis for the first time. Also, Tari Ralston is in, as is Riley Gilvin. And Zakiah Johnson will be a holdover, as will Tootie Jordan.
Well, Coach Moore will try to leave a couple of those, I'd say, staple players in the game just to keep the continuity going, like I said, so every quarter is a good field quarter, so everybody's participating.
Got immediate timeout with 2:59 in the third. Sacred Heart well on their way from Glycod.
If a drunk driver hurts or kills someone, the bar or restaurant that overserved that person is jointly responsible. I'm attorney John DeCamillis, and Rob and I hold restaurants and bars accountable. Let me speak directly to bar managers and bartenders. Be a frontline hero. Have the courage to cut someone off. If you've been in an accident with a drunk driver, call us. Our reputation is our trademark.
This segment of tonight's game is brought to you by the law offices of DeCamillis and Mattingly in Louisville. Our reputation is our trademark.
2:59 to play at Rupp Arena at Central Bank Center and Sacred Heart pasting Johnson Central 53-10.
Well, you got the Sacred Heart Valkyries starting off this quarter just like they started, or like they had the second quarter and the end of the first. They're already 5 of 6 from the field, but most of them being layups. One shot only for the Johnson Central Golden Eagles, and then they run. And when they run, they score layups, and that's been the Valkyries so far this quarter.
Bree Wilkins has been a factor. 6 points in this third quarter, had 4 points entering the third frame, so she's now in double figures.
Well, she opened the quarter off with 2 or 3 steals in a row. Just quick hands, tipping it away from the defender and then taking it from behind and pushing the court.
Johnson Central team, they're going to fall to 27-4, the 11th trip to the Sweet 16, but marking 10 preceding first-round games, are only 1-9.
Do what now? I didn't hear you.
In the 10 preceding first-round games, they're 1-9.
Well, it's very difficult when you live that far out. To be honest, those teams want to play great teams, but a lot of great teams won't travel that far. I used to go down and play. A friend of mine, Randy Napier, is a Hall of Famer at MC Napier and then Perry County Central. Nobody else would go down there, but we would, and it was a difficult time. So all credit to them. They're here, and they'll continue to try to play good teams as coaches in there coaching them.
Out of the 15th region is Johnson Central, as Allie Sloan, the freshman, weaving in, lost it. That's going to ignite a break. Filling is Riley Gilvin. 2 passes, one from Johnson, one from Ralston, and Gilvin put it in.
Yeah, it's how you draw it up, Chris. It's just how you draw it up. They run it so well.
It's 2:28 in this third. Instructional video is not that proper on a fast break. There's a strong drive and a crafty basket for Kaylin McKenzie off the window.
It was good to see. Sacred Heart gave her a right hand, and by gosh, she took advantage of it.
There's DeCamillis in the corner. Around the clock now, up top to Zakiah with 2 minutes in the third. Gilvin finds Zakiah baseline, lofts the jumper in. Now 156 and a 57-12 pasting. And back-to-back baskets. Carly Stanley with the runner off the backboard. And there's Ralston. It's a layup drill as Sacred Heart scores again.
Yeah, the one thing about this, the Golden Eagles, they have to rotate somebody back, and they're not doing that right now. It takes everything they have to get to the offensive end, and they're missing the rotation.
Greer Waffen is going to check in for Sacred Heart. She is at the scorer's table. with 1:20 remaining. Addison Burchett up top. Stanley triggers a three, well short from the perimeter. And a rebound, Zakiah Johnson. Outlet in the corner to Tari Ralston. Ralston baseline, puts it up long. And with 1 minute in the third, Johnson Central possesses the rebound.
And only the second missed shot in this third quarter by the Sacred Heart Valkyries.
There's Carly Stanley inching in. Nice head fake and puts it in with the opposite hand.
Yeah, like I said, Chris, I really like that young lady. That was a great lift move. Beautiful up and under from a point guard.
Stanley with 5 points in this quarter and a 59-16 Sacred Heart lead. Tootie Jordan finds Tari Ralston cutting. Johnson, rebound, put back and in. "20 seconds as Johnson Central trying to finish the quarter on a high note. There's Kaylin McKenzie. In the corner, Stanley at 7 seconds. Stanley elbow jumper over. Johnson banked it long. And Tootie Jordan over to Zakiah to close the quarter, and Zakiah with the runner. And they're going to say it doesn't count. Okay. So take that off the board in a 61-16 Sacred Heart lead. We'll step aside, fourth quarter next from Glycod.
New recruit, take advantage of our apprenticeship program. Come out of our 4-year course debt-free. With health insurance, a guaranteed pension, a degree, and an electrical license.
3 words I'd use to describe the apprenticeship are opportunity, skillful, educational,
solid career path,
Rewarding, beneficial, and a brotherhood.
A life-changing opportunity.
The cost of school is free. All your books are paid for.
You go to school once every 2 weeks. All the other stuff is on-the-job training.
The teachers here are great. They're all very, very knowledgeable.
They're preparing you for what you're already seeing in the field.
If you're struggling with something at school, sometimes your fellow students can help you work through that.
Everyone's willing to help each other. It's like a big family.
I love being a part of a union, something bigger than myself.
This field is so vast. You can find something that you really love to do because there is so much you can do with it.
I went from a job to a life-changing career.
Power up your potential with the IBEW.
You're watching Louisville Basketball Game Night from Glycod.
Valkyries on their way as they're having no issues whatsoever with Johnson Central.
No, not at all. Just a dominant performance by the Sacred Heart Valkyries. Came out of the gates a little shaky with the turnovers. Once they righted the ship, they've been just a juggernaut. I mean, they've been unbelievable. That last quarter, that fourth quarter on the running clock, they were 9 of 12 from the field, 1 of 1 from the three, and 1 of 1 from the free throw line. That was on an and one. Now, Johnson Central did do a little bit better, a couple layups. They were 4 of 7, 0 of 2, and 0 of 0. But way too little and way too late.
Sacred Heart outscoring Johnson Central 16-8 in the first, 23-0 in the second, and 23-8 in the third. So Valkyrie ball. There's Zakiah Johnson, baseline, 10-footer, swish.
Beautiful job of posting up, facing up, and knocking down that short corner shot by Zakiah.
7:45 in this fourth as we're going to have another Valkyrie checking in. Ashley Smith's at the scores table, and Zakiah may come out now with 7:37 left. Shot blocked and gobbled up by Riley Gilvin as Gilvin driving finds Zakiah Johnson in the corner. Johnson, the return pass to Gilvin. DeCamillis for a three, in and out. There's Morgan Fry with the offensive rebound and stolen away. It's Allie Sloan out with it for Johnson Central. Carly Stewart driving, lays it in with a left. Stanley, excuse me.
Yeah, Curley again, she can use either hand well and attack the basket and finish. Does a good job for that young point guard.
63-18 now, 7 minutes left. High-low, Morgan Fry catches it, puts it in, and a great assist from Tari Ralston. 6:37 on the clock. Moving baseline is Sloan. She'll be cut off, and Stanley near sideline launches a deep three. It's in and out. And there's Zakiah with a rebound. Outlet pass. Great grab. Riley Gilvin puts it in. And Donna Moyer, Sacred Heart, wants a timeout, but wants the clock to continue. So we're going to have a bevy of Valkyrie subs coming in with 6:18 to play. So a 30-second Sacred Heart timeout will keep things here as 5 new ones coming in.
Yeah, that answered our question as far as when they're going to get the lineups out of there. Smart thing by Donna. They had a good start in the fourth quarter. She wanted to feel good about the fourth quarter going into tomorrow night's game. She did that. They accomplished that. And now they can give these young ladies that's worked so hard all year long more of an opportunity on the big floor.
We're going to see 5 new ones. Rebecca Carson played well. She's back in there at 6 first-half points. She's in there. Greer Wathen is in. Also Ashley Smith. Gabby DeCamillis will stay out there. And Lydia Mabaya is in as well, 5'7" senior. So Carly Stanley on the handle for Johnson Central.
But one thing about it, Chris, don't expect the defense to let up, because that's what they hang their hat on. These young ladies coming in the ball game, they want to prove themselves for the next opportunity.
5:58 left. And how important was it for the Valkyries to end this game on a high note?
I always think it's important. There's nothing worse than going in and subbing all the way out, or doing what you do, or not but playing poorly at the end of a great game. You know, it just gives you a bad taste, and they took that bad taste away. You want to go in on a high. You know, a little tougher game come most likely will be come Friday night. So, you know, they want to come in on high and feel good.
Yeah, tomorrow night quarterfinal opposite either Cooper or Mercy. That'll be an 8:30 tip. We'll have it for you starting at 8 o'clock as both teams deep into their bench. Johnson Central has 2 8th graders out there, and there's a steal for the Valkyries. Ashley Smith lofts it up and in. Good for her. Ashley Smith, 5'5" sophomore, and the lead at 41.
What was impressive was that left hand she used on that break.
There's 2 at the other end for 8th grader Cam Duncan.
She made a nice move too. Little reversal under the goal. Nice shot.
Becca Carson carving some space in and throws it out of bounds. Trying to find Ashley Smith. And some miscommunication.
Yeah, Ashley was supposed to screen down. They were supposed to pop up, and Ashley started to go and kind of came back, and just a little miscommunication.
See what Johnson Central can do here with 4:30 left. This will be a very disappointing end to a sound season. They'll be at 27-4. And the shot is blocked, and we'll have a Valkyrie foul. 2 free throws coming up at the 4:20 mark.
Yeah, there's no quit in the Johnson Central team, and there's especially no quit in Carly Stanley.
Yeah, Stanley only a freshman, and certainly as her career continues, going to get more and more publicity. And that one drained. So 1 of 2 for Stanley with 4:20 left, and the Valkyries pushing it up, and Becca Carson throws it away, tried to find Ashley Smith underneath.
Yeah, but, you know, Chris, they throw those deep passes. That's why all their kids run the lane so well. They think they might be on the other end of one of those.
Just over 4 minutes to play. And Stanley on the handle.
Sacred Heart's only 4 points away from their season average, or in-game average, as far as 73 points.
There's Stanley weaving in off the window. That's in for 2 more. She's going to finish with a very solid line today.
Absolutely. She uses her body so well to shield the defense off. Does a great job.
3:30 left as DeCamillis weaves it around to Ashley Smith. There's the 3 off the mark from Smith as Johnson Central snares the rebound. Stanley drives, lays it up and in again.
Coach Moore won't be real happy with that. She's not big on giving up straight line drives. I don't care who's in the ball game.
With 3 minutes to play as the Valkyries riding this on a 23-0 second quarter. There's the entry, Mabaya. Mabaya lofts it from 6. It's short. And the rebound at 2:50 for Johnson Central, and they're going to call their last timeout. It's going to extend, and we will step aside with 2:48 remaining. Sacred Heart well on their way from Glycod.
Go ahead. Pour it on. As thick as you want to. Holy Smokes Barbecue and Catering. Serving up the tastiest ribs, chicken, brisket, brown sugar sticky wings, mutton and ham. Always served to you fresh and so good, it'll make you say,
Holy smokes!
Holy Smokes Barbecue and Catering, 7508 Preston Highway.
Holy smokes!
You're watching Louisville Basketball Game Night from Glycod.
Back live with Mark Evans. I'm Chris LeBar, and a 69-25 Valkyries lead with the 2:48 in the fourth. This will be Sacred Heart's 32nd win of the year, and their 10th straight after that Simon Kent loss last month.
Well, you know, Chris, I mean, they're definitely hitting on all cylinders today. And a lot of it has to do with competition, but you know, the one thing about being here every single year, or at least most of the years lately for the Valkyries, is you know how to react to a game like this. Like, they'll know how to go back to the hotels. They'll know how to get themselves rested and ready for tomorrow night. You know, teams that come in here for the first time or second time, they don't have that experience. Sometimes they trip up off the court as well as tripping up on the court.
So Johnson Central playing things out here with 2:48 remaining. They have a bevy of new players on the floor.
Yeah, Coach Hicks is playing for a different day, of course, and he wants to get all of his, that's what the timeout was about. He wants to get as many of his young players in as he can so they can experience Rep Arena. It's an awful big deal for a lot of these communities.
Again, Johnson Central, their 12th trip to the Sweet 16, representing the 15th region. Got here with a win versus Lawrence County, 64-41 last week.
Yeah, they've had a great season, and they've beaten some good teams. They've tripped up overtime, and then one other time, I believe, against Taylor County, which also has a very good team.
There's a loose ball scrum on the inbound, as that's Emma McKenzie, an 8th grader, on the handle for Johnson Central.
You know, the matchup today was just not a good matchup. Sometimes your matchups dictate everything. Today, the matchup dictated everything. The styles were too similar, and Sacred Heart was just better at it.
Over 2 minutes left now. Immediate timeout. That'll be the last pause with 2:10 to play. We'll be back to wrap things up on Glycod.
Are you a parent battling with raising your child in today's fallen world? You're not alone. The Operation Parent Handbook is your beacon of hope with info and guidance on social media, vaping, anxiety, and more. It's a resource that equips you with the guidance and conversation starters you need in your parenting journey. Use discount code KIDS at checkout to get 10% off any handbook. Visit operationparent.org to reclaim your confidence as a parent. Operation Parent, you've got this.
You're watching Louisville Basketball Game Night from Glycod.
Two big quarterfinals tomorrow on Glycod. Join us at 1 o'clock for the pregame of Taylor County Frederick Douglass. Tip there at 1:30. And then Mark and I will join you at 8 o'clock tomorrow for the pregame with the Cooper Mercy Survivor versus Sacred Heart. And certainly the Valkyries familiar with both those teams.
Absolutely. They played both those teams this year. Cooper played them relatively close. Mercy did not.
Who do you like in this game coming up with Cooper and Mercy?
I think I would give the nod to Cooper. Mercy's really playing well at the end of the season. I just, based on the earlier game that they played, I think Cooper has a little bit of an advantage. But once again, Mercy's just been playing really well and hitting a lot of threes. And if they can hit shots, but this is a tough place to hit shots. These two three-point lines will fool you, and it really does affect the girls sometimes because they want to pull up behind the white, and you'll notice a lot of short threes.
Tonight, Danville Christian, Davies County and Henderson County, Marshall County. That'll wrap up the first round action. So Johnson Central inbounding with 2:10 remaining. And Sacred Heart trailed 3-0 on an early Kalen McKenzie free throw, and that was pretty much the high point today for the Eagles.
Yeah, the start of the game was the best part of the game for the Golden Eagles, no doubt, and then it went downhill from that point on.
Great effort by Sacred Heart today as Johnson Central handling in the half court with just over 2 minutes left in a running clock.
Well, the defense is what's so impressive with Sacred Heart. There's no doubt about it. They push your offense out farther than you want to run your offense.
There's an open three that's well short from Jalen Blanton. And possession, Sacred Heart on the inbound.
I'm sorry, Chris. They caught in great rhythm. It looked good going up. It's just a little bit short, probably a little bit of legs.
1:28 left. Valkyries will have Ashley Smith handle it. And Smith straddling the half-court line finds Gabby DeCamillis to our left as DeCamillis will weave it around and back to Ashley Smith as we near 1 minute left. Zutterman, a great pass, and Greer Wathen is fouled as she goes to the basket.
Yeah, once again, good ball movement and a nice cut from that baseline corner by Greer Wathen.
So no free throws as Johnson Central with their first foul, and the clock idle now at 53.8 remaining. DeCamillis inbounds, and Mabaya got it down deep and in.
Yeah, that's really good for that senior. I know her teammates really pull for her. She's a great young lady, and she's just behind a lot of talent on that particular team in her position.
71-25, and the inbound goes awry and out of bounds. So Valkyries, perhaps the final possession of this game. Sacred Heart, 3 wins away now from their 5th straight state championship. Mabaya at the elbow. Mabaya finds Emma Zutterman in the corner. And the clock winding down as Sacred Heart will win it. Handshakes to the near sideline for the Valkyrie coaching staff, and the players embrace one another as the Valkyries moving on.
Yeah, definitely a statement by the Sacred Heart Valkyries that if you're going to beat them, you're going to have to take it from them.
So Donna Moyer going to walk down and chat with her adversary, Jim Hicks, head coach of Johnson Central. 2 great head coaches, 2 class programs. Valkyries move on, and Mark and I with more coverage in our post-game report coming up right after this.
UA Local 502 is offering great career opportunities for plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. They're seeking highly skilled and trained workers with or without experience. Incentives include debt-free education, employer-funded benefits, apprenticeship that comes with employment, and high starting wages. If you're ready to accelerate your career or just want a fresh start, UA Local 502 could be for you. Contact them at 502-361-8492. UA Local 502. We do it right the first time.
1965 male graduate and basketball star George Tensley knows the value of providing quality service, and that's what you get when you dine with Tensley Family Concessions. They provide travelers with many fine choices at Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Whether it's Kentucky Fried Chicken, Chili's, or Starbucks, you know your travel experience will be a more comfortable and convenient one. Learn more about our company by visiting the website tfcfamily.com.
When you're buying or selling a new home and you want to do it with few hassles, count on Polo Real Estate Group. Founded and owned by 1993 Male High graduate Dion Reese, Polo Real Estate has over 2 decades of experience and offers skillful consultation and representation for your sale or purchase. Polo Real Estate Group, a realtor you can trust.
Check it. Ooh. Oh, no.
Need a better battery? Get an Interstate battery. Outrageously dependable.
Should have had an Interstate.
Come by Interstate Batteries, 1510 Production Road, Jeffersonville. Blunt Dental Group is a high-quality, family-owned dental practice. We are committed to educating our patients, as well as investing in the latest technology to provide more efficient dental care. Our team of licensed dentists and hygienists includes 2010 male high graduate Tyler Blunt, located in the heart of Linden at 8013 New LaGrange Road, Suite 6. For an appointment, call 502-425-7068 or go online at bluntdentalgroup.com. Blunt Dental Group, straightforward smiles.
People want to define Gen Z, but that's our job.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital. I put out a forest fire. I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives. And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time. While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Tonight's post-game recap is brought to you by the Army National Guard. Protect what matters most to you. Visit your nearest National Guard recruiter or NationalGuard.com.
Take a look at your final numbers presented by German American Bank. Support your community school with a German American School Spirit Check Card. Visit GermanAmerican.com for more information. Heavily tinted to the left on this graphic for Sacred Heart.
Yeah, they just dominated from start to finish. Shot a tremendous percentage, created massive amounts of turnovers, and capitalized off those turnovers by getting layups. For Johnson Central, every shot they seemed to miss. They had a hard time getting back in transition defense, and if you do that with Sacred Heart, you give up even more layups. So it was just a dominant performance, and you know, you have to play almost the perfect game to have a shot against Sacred Heart. There's certain things you have to do. They're non-negotiables. Today, those non-negotiables were not met by Johnson Central.
Valkyries plus 17 on the backboard and cleaned up the turnover bug as well as they started a little bit sloppy. But again, the key to this game, 23-0 drought in the second quarter. Johnson Central without a point in the second period.
Well, absolutely. I mean, if you're going to have a chance against Sacred Heart, you got to take away Zakai's touches. You know, you have to double her to make her give the ball up. If she catches it, you have to double her on the block to keep her from making post moves. You have to make shots. You have to play fantastic transition defense, and you can have little or no turnovers. There's not a lot of teams out there that can do that. I mean, we're going to see this week if there is anybody that can do that. But if Sacred Heart continues to play the way they played today, they're going to be a very, very difficult out, which is an understatement.
Yeah, Valkyries now 32-3. We'll be back for our most outstanding players. We'll have that for you right after this from Glycod.
Hey, I didn't order any pizza.
Jake from State Farm. After you saved me so much dough on insurance with that Parker promo, I devised a promo for you.
Here's the deal, Parker. State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Right. Pepperoni pockets, cuckoo crusties.
There's no promo, it's just great rates.
And a side of ranch.
For surprisingly great rates and great service, call State Farm agent Mike Shelton in Louisville today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
UA Local 502 is offering great career opportunities for plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. They're seeking highly skilled and trained workers with or without experience. Incentives include debt-free education, employer-funded benefits, apprenticeship that comes with employment, and high starting wages. If you're ready to accelerate your career or just want a fresh start, UA Local 502 could be for you. Contact them at 502-361-8492. UA Local 502. We do it right the first time.
Are you an HVAC and refrigeration tech looking for new opportunities? Tech 24 is your single source for commercial HVAC, refrigeration, and kitchen equipment maintenance all across the country. We have exciting career opportunities with great pay and benefits in your area. To learn more, contact Brad at 864-549-8344 and check us out on the web at mytech24.com. 864-549-8344.
Blunt Dental Group is a high-quality, family-owned dental practice. We are committed to educating our patients, as well as investing in the latest technology to provide more efficient dental care. Our team of licensed dentists and hygienists includes 2010 Male High graduate Tyler Blunt, located in the heart of Linden at 8013 New LaGrange Road, Suite 6. For an appointment, call 502-425-7068 or go online at bluntdentalgroup.com. Blunt Dental Group, straightforward smiles.
Blind Direct, not just blinds. Blind Direct, not just blinds.
Research has shown high school sports to be a great community influence. Join scores of local businesses that have partnered with Glycod in sponsoring live, hometown-oriented sports programming on our video and social media platforms. For more information, email info@glycod.com.
People want to define Gen Z, but that's our job.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital. I put out a forest fire. I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives. And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
This segment of tonight's game is brought to you by the Kentucky Army National Guard. Serve your country while going to school or work full-time. Find your fit at nationalguard.com.
Tonight's most outstanding players are brought to you by State Farm Insurance Agent Mike Shelton. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there for Johnson Central. Mark, I feel like Carly Stanley finished the game quite well, 16 points.
Yeah, she really turned on in the late third quarter, early fourth quarter. Did a real nice job of using her body, shielded the defense off, and got to the rim really well. Her shot really never fell for her much, but she always had hands in her face. And when you have hands in your face, she did what she needed to do, get the ball to the rim. She did a great job, and she's got a really bright future.
Yeah, Stanley, the lone double-figure score today for Johnson Central, and Zakiah, not much she did not do today.
She put on a show. She was inside, outside, hit the three, post up, step back, knocked down the little short jump shot, passed the ball well, played great defense, intimidate shooters. I don't know. I think she went over and coached a little bit on the sidelines too. She did everything that you could possibly do. She's a great player, and she's got a lot of accolades. But she's one of those great ones that's humble, has a great family behind her, and you want to pull for kids like that. You know, there's no bragging, there's no attitude. It's just super positive young lady.
10 rebounds as an accessory to Zakiah's 26 points. Riley Gilvin, 12 points off the bench. Bree Wilkins, 8. Tootie Jordan with 7. And 6 for Becca Carson. How about Morgan Fry? Only 2 points, but 10 rebounds.
Yeah, that's what Morgan's been doing lately. She's doing the little things. She's rebounding on both ends extremely well. She's extremely active, really works hard on her post defense. You know, she's not a big kid, but she uses her body well. She plays quality defense. She gets around the defenders. She gets thin. She tips balls away. And, you know, Sacred had 16-0 on the bench points. I mean, that's something to be said. You know, they just dominated in every way.
They sure did. Back on the air tomorrow for 2 of the 4 quarterfinals from Lexington. We'll start at 1:30 p.m. with a 30-minute pregame leading into that. Taylor County and Frederick Douglass followed at 8:30. Mark will rejoin me for the Cooper Mercy winner versus Sacred Heart. And again, Valkyrie's going to be a short night, but certainly a replication of today. You got to like their chances this week.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the only thing you could do a little differently for Sacred Heart would be draw into yesterday. You know, I mean, it's always nice to have that extra day to sit back and watch, especially if you're experienced as they are. But, you know, today they were able to play a lot of players, and I was mistaken on the bench points. I had the wrong quarter. They ended up 28-2 on bench points. Wow. So, you know, the starters got a lot of rest, and Donna knows how to handle this time off, and they'll be sharp again tomorrow night, I would expect.
Congratulations to Johnson Central on a fantastic season, but it will end today as the Valkyries move on. That'll do it for us this afternoon. For our executive producer, Steve Bird, and analyst Mark Evans, I'm Chris Labar. Good afternoon from Rupp Arena in Lexington. You've been listening to the Sweet 16 on Glycod.
Founded in 1910 in the Ohio Valley region, German American Bank has been raising the standards in banking and wealth management for over a century. Big enough to provide the conveniences of modern banking, yet small enough to care about the people and communities we serve. Because we believe that when a community thrives, its people prosper. We're lending more than money. We're lending a hand. German American Bank, building our community together.
People want to define Gen Z, but that's our job.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital. I put out a forest fire. I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives and led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
New recruit? Take advantage of our apprenticeship program. Come out of our 4-year course debt-free. With health insurance, a guaranteed pension, a degree, and an electrical license.
3 words I'd use to describe the apprenticeship are opportunity, skillful, educational,
solid career path,
rewarding, beneficial, and a brotherhood.
A life-changing opportunity.
The cost of school is free. All your books are paid for.
You go to school once every 2 weeks. All the other stuff is on-the-job training.
The teachers here are great. They're all very, very knowledgeable.
They're preparing you for what you're already seeing in the field.
If you're struggling with something in school, sometimes your fellow students can help you work through that.
Everyone's willing to help each other. It's like a big family.
I love being a part of a union, something bigger than myself.
This field is so vast. You can find something that you really love to do because there is so much you can do.
I went from a job to a life-changing career.
Power up your potential with the IBEW.
Line Direct, not just blinds. Line Direct, not just blinds.
Only your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer has genuine parts, accessories, trained service technicians, and the widest selection of innovative Cub Cadet products. We're here for you whenever you need us, with expert service and support to keep your equipment running at peak performance for years to come. Visit your locally owned power equipment dealer, Anderson Sales and Service in Madison, Crestwood, and our newest location at 1675 Watterson Trail in Louisville.
If a drunk driver hurts or kills someone, the bar or restaurant that overserved that person is jointly responsible. I'm attorney John D. Camillus, and Rob and I hold restaurants and bars accountable. Let me speak directly to bar managers and bartenders. Be a frontline hero. Have the courage to cut someone off. If you've been in an accident with a drunk driver, call us. Our reputation is our trademark.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Mike Shelton in Louisville today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're watching Louisville Basketball Game Night from Glycod. From Glycod, this has been UA Local 502 Louisville Basketball Game Night. UA Local 502, they do it right the first time. Tonight's game was brought to you by Tinsley Family Concessions, commitment to quality. The Army National Guard, where the next greatest generation is now. German American Bank, building our community together. Polo Real Estate Group, a realtor you can trust. IBEW Local 369, Power up your potential. Blunt Dental Group, Straightforward Smiles, State Farm Insurance Agent Mike Shelton. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And Holy Smokes Barbecue.
For schedule information about our upcoming broadcasts, visit our website, glicod.com, Facebook and Twitter @GlyCod. We thank you for tuning into this live sports presentation from GlyCod.